Hi, everybody. Welcome back to the Quantum Guide Show. Today, I'm very happy to bring on a new guest, Andrew Lauridsen. For those of you who are not familiar, let me tell you a little bit about him. Andrew calls himself a professional nobody, an amateur hug dealer, and is an overall jack of all trades, attempting to advocate for the idea of global, stateless society that will ultimately permeate the planet once this budding technocratic era implodes from within. This will leave those of us who sought to build the new earth by preserving the ways of being and ways of knowing to return fully to our sovereignty as spiritual beings in these temporary maternal forms. Alas, we live in a hyper commercialistic matrix and we have to wear clothes. So why not make counter propaganda clothing? Because, as Andrew says, dang, the social engineers have divided us so successfully. And that is ultimately why I am here. Andrew has a YouTube channel called Heavyweights Light Feels, which offers powerlifting, philosophy, and offers powerlifting, oh my God, my face won't work today, philosophy and philanthropy as a platform to discourse on consciousness and its impact to a healthy life and community. All of the links are featured below in the description, and be sure to check out Andrew's merchandise. Check us out, subscribe to our channels, leave me a comment, like my videos, and share my content with your friends. And you can now join my YouTube channel and take advantage of my perks. Without further ado, I'm going to bring on Andrew. Andrew, oh, nice to see you. And oh, you've got a little friend with you today.
That is Loki my brokey. I'm doing some pet sitting for a friend, and then that's my dog that passed. I always have him around. The little picture right there.
Oh,
Thank you for having me. Thank you. It's an honor and a privilege. So thank you very much.
oh, you're very welcome. Sorry, I had a few problems with my face pronouncing some words today. I don't know what's the matter with me, but I have the best of intentions, and hopefully, people got an understanding of what you're about, or at least partly what you're about. And of course, there's a description below this video, and there's links. I hope people check out your merch. I love that idea of having merch that says the message that you want to get across. Let's not be divided. Let's unite. Let's be strong. Let's be sovereign. I love that so much. I'm just going to take a quick look at the chat and say hi to Helena and Denise. Denise is my monitor. I'm really having trouble with my words today. I'm sorry. But anyway, I really appreciate you being here, Denise. Denise says, welcome, Andrew. And oh, and Kristen. We've got Kristen. Kristen's on here too today. Hello, Kristen. Nice to see you. And yes, I think that's everybody we've covered so far. I like to say hi to the people that make the effort to come during the lives. And I also will often read what they have posted in the live chat, because this is going to go out on so many audio podcasts and they don't have benefit of reading the comments on the screen. So I like to be able to read the comments so that it can include everybody regardless of the format. So yeah, so it's lovely to have you on the show. So I've been sort of a little bit communicating with you back and forth for a while now on Messenger, and I really love your message. And I love the way you see ways that we can unify and we can come together and we can change the reality as we're experiencing it. Do you want to talk a little bit about your mission or how you see things or what your goals are? That would be really lovely.
Absolutely. I want to give maybe a quick backstory, and I kind of want to lead it up to maybe I'll end it around where I first encountered your work. Growing up, I grew up a very working class young man, so I really resonate with the working class experience. Um, I was gifted in the sense, though, that I was in the advanced classes and was blessed to get to go to college and got college degrees. And then for a period in my 20s, I was fortunate enough to have a really good sort of corporate job at Boeing, and that's kind of what I thought my life was supposed to be. It was supposed to be go to college, get the 9 to 5, start a family, and just be part of society. I didn't really have any religious or spiritual experiences as a young person. I kind of saw that all the fact that religions were generally geographically centralized with, outliers and little disbursements here and there. But I was like, oh, well, that just seems like your religion is likely a chance of where you were born more than anything else. But I did find a profound connection with philosophy overall. And as I got older, I kind of realized that philosophy and spirituality are very much connected. And I was working at Boeing, a corporate job. Slowly, my statement of work creeped into doing military projects. And at the time, I don't know, just indifferent. I was like, okay, yeah, cool. I'm working on military weapons. But eventually, after I discovered psychedelics, I had the very cliche psychedelic awakening experience. I have the long hair and the beard now. I admit that's kind of funny and cliche, but I have a plan for that. I have a strategic plan. When I might need
Mhm.
to someday change my appearance rapidly, it would benefit me to shave and cut my hair and add some contacts. I wanna get back to that in a minute, but let's just
Mhm.
wrap up saying, ultimately, I decided to leave the corporate world because I did not wanna be part of the military industrial complex. Uh, the psychedelic experience I had showed me 2 paths. I could continue down that road, and it was not a good life. I did not like the person I saw that outcome leading to, and then it showed me another path, a path of tremendous adversity in terms of, personal development needs and growth. That's one of the potential benefits of psychedelics. They also have some negatives, so as I'm advocating for psychedelics, I do wanna also mention they're not perfect, but I was blessed to have a great experience in conjunction with this great dog that altered the trajectory of my life entirely. I've spent the last 10 years of my life just trying to figure out what my future is, what it should be. Um, I never wanted to be a famous person. That never was anything I wanted. I'll take fortune if I could somehow find fortune because I grew up working class. I'm still very much not financially well off. Um, but I know that um, I have some of a voice. I have a message somewhere in here, and the classic hero's journey that people go through, there is a step of resistance, and I've been resisting for the longest time trying to put myself out there, um, which is one reason why I'm very grateful that you're giving me this platform. Thank you, Karen. You have really cool grandma energy, and my grandmas were always my favorite family members. And let me just wrap up here. I'm almost done. I
It's
encountered
okay. Take your time. It's all good.
Okay. I encountered your work around 2021. You were doing a series called Convergence,
Mhm.
and I remember the intro really impacted me because you said this thing. It's the personal is political. So let's explore the politics of Earth and the exopolitics of outer space. And that hit me because uh, everything is connected back to our political structure in terms of what I believe is preventing a spiritual awakening on this planet. And
Mhm.
it's this paradoxical position in that the political structure is what is preventing the awakening, but
Mhm.
we need to entirely divest away from the political structure to have the awakening. And it's
Mhm.
that paradoxical place that we're at, and that's ultimately my mission. Our mission. We talk about the new Earth a lot.
Mhm.
But we don't really talk about what it means to actually build it. Um,
Mhm.
and so, in my introduction, um, I'm a professional nobody because I really don't want fame, but
Mhm.
I do see that there's work that needs done, and I have to
Mhm.
contribute how I can. And so, we're creating merchandise propaganda with a message, but also I think there's an element of literal building. Like we have to go build the infrastructure. And what I see is a return to the planet. So in the introduction, the return of ways of being,
Mhm.
living living in alignment with nature. There's this really cool concept I didn't know about growing up. It's called animal husbandry,
Mhm.
uh, where you love the livestock, you support your family and your lifestyle, and you love the planet. Um,
Mhm.
and so uh, that I believe is our mission, is to build the new Earth.
Mhm.
Uh, this is just my personal sort of projection. I think the technocrats are going to live for another 200 to 300 years. And so
Mhm.
we're not even going to see the full manifestation of the new earth, not us in this life we're in right now. I
Mhm.
don't know fully what I believe about souls and whatnot. I'm not blessed to have a robust spiritual connection in the form of spirit guides or ET encounters. Like that's why I love your content, because it's like it's this something that I don't get to participate in, but I absolutely believe in. I have just a really intense inner dialogue, and I've had the psychedelic experiences that I would consider divine or numinous. But
Mhm.
I joke, and I'll kind of end it here. I joke that the ETs didn't contact me beforehand because my dog, they knew that he would go after them, just out
Mhm.
of
Well,
just
might be true.
yeah. And so now they don't come after me because I'm the type of person that if a spider crawls out of a nook or cranny that I'm working in, I don't freak out, but I do immediately begin negotiations. I'm like, I want
Mhm.
both of us to get out of this alive. How do we make that happen?
Mhm. Mhm.
And so ultimately, the goal is land. We need land. And that's something that I kind of see people talking about in the spiritual community, but I don't see a lot of action. I don't see a lot of coordination. But at the same time, we don't see it because that it's not been the time for that.
Mhm.
All of the craziness that we've been going through, it's been part of the timeline, part of the time frame. I think the future, though, is I used that word divestiture. That's the future. It's we know the matrix exists, but we don't have to be a part of it. Uh,
Mhm.
and there's one more joke I wanted to get in there. I can't remember it. I lost it. Dag nabbit. I'll
Well, as
remember
soon
it.
as it comes back, interrupt me and say it. I don't mind, okay?
Okay.
But I love everything you've said. And my own personal philosophy is that I had to become the change that I wanted to see in the world. And that is not easy. So for me, I believe in a love based system. And I've seen how that can work in other realities off world. And it includes things like it's not just warm, fuzzy feelings when I say love. It also includes self control, patience, mildness, being compassionate, empathetic. It's a whole bunch of virtues. And it's almost like juggling, and we got to juggle them all at the same time. It's a big job to unlearn bad habits and defense mechanisms and to start practicing the virtues, and that leads me segues into my belief that the powers that be only have that power when we give it to them. Soon as we withdraw our awareness from them and focus it on some of the things you're talking about, Andrew, like the land, living in harmony with the ecosystem, the biosphere, not to mention each other, That to me, that and becoming the change that we want to see in the world is absolutely paramount to basically it's an investment. We're reinvesting in ourselves and in our reality in a very specific way, and to me that's the quickest way to bring about change. Please feel free to disagree with me and add to it, but I just wanted to throw my 2 cents worth in there, Andrew.
You said something that triggered a thought. I'm writing notes down here, so I'm trying to listen and write notes. I remember the joke. Uh, I remember during the fake plague, you were very vocal about you call them jabs, I call them pokey pokes. Uh,
Mm-hmm.
I respect the crap out of that. Uh, Trying not to use profanity, because I I I lost so many friends over the last 10 years, and I think
Yeah.
most people's awakening journeys are very similar in that you lose so many friends, but the ones that shocked me were the big, tough, strong dude friends that I had that, one guy, I'm not going to name any names, but he used to reload his own ammo and he was a hunter and all that stuff. And then he took a pokey poke and I'm like, what? What? Karen, you are way more brave and courageous than these fake alpha male guys. That was the little joke I had. Um,
I'm an old alpha, a granny.
my favorite people. Thank you for leading the way in this new earth. You used the word reinvest, and that's perfect. Because I'm thinking of cognitive behavioral therapy,
Mm-hmm.
something based in sort of material reality. Um, it's helped me so much that when I'm looking at like maybe the news or social media and I think to myself, this is not where I should be investing my energy. Redirect,
Mm-hmm.
redirect.
Yep.
And so I've been personally, and that's part of my own personal journey. I'm sure a lot of us probably just need to stop using Instagram entirely. I don't know why I still open it, but using this idea of reinvesting my energy, it's really helped me refocus on the mission. And I like this idea of calling it the mission kind of because
Mm.
it's inclusive but somewhat specific. So it's like everyone can be a part of the mission, but
Mm-hmm.
it's just vague enough that everyone can contribute in some way, shape, or form. And we can get more specific into it. Like I had mentioned, I'm a jack of all trades. After my corporate departure, and then the amateur hug dealer thing as well, I actually became a massage therapist for a while, which was a really unexpected sort of talent that I had unlocked. I like lifting weights. It's just so much fun, and self care. Oh my gosh, self care should not be considered a vain or bougie sort of endeavor. Self care should be so normalized, and massage therapy should be normalized. It can be so beneficial for so many things. But I learned about myself that I've got like I'm split. I'm part intuitive, but part analytical. And getting to engage in energy work and learning about that, it was good and bad because holy cow, I did not fully appreciate energy work until I was working on people and I'm like feeling things and I'm like, why am I feeling this? This is not what I should be feeling in the way that you can take other people's energy on. Um, and it just that was right as I was sort of awakening. I don't even know if I like the word awakening because like I
Mm-hmm.
said, I don't have guides or anything. I call it
Mm-hmm.
more of accepting,
Mm-hmm.
just accepting how uh, crazy our world and our reality really is, on the paranormal. Maybe that's not even the right word. I'm starting to ramble. I'm sorry. Let me try to
No,
get back
don't be
on track.
sorry. Don't.
Um,
A lot of what we're talking about, Andrew, we don't even have concepts or language for, and we're filtering our desire to help others and our experiences through our perceptual arena. And we all have different perceptual arenas depending on genetics and upbringing and a whole bunch of things. So don't ever have to apologize because as it comes out is sometimes how it's supposed to come out. and I'm not big on censorship. I just want to quickly say Denise says self-care is so important. If we don't take care of ourselves, we can't help others. And I agree. I agree with Denise. And I also think that's part of love. And people don't know how to love, and they don't know how to love themselves. And until I started learning how to love myself, I couldn't really love other people. And a big part of that is self-care, which I call self-control, because self-control helps me to decide what I want to eat, what I don't want to eat. I've got all kinds of policies around food. Some people might think it's a bit pathological, but for me, it's absolutely essential for me to be at my best. I need to be at my best because I got work to do. I got the mission. Andrew. I got to do that, right?
You are on point. Self-care can mean structure. Structure
Mm-hmm.
is not inherently bad. Too much, it's going back to philosophy, and you had talked about the balance, the virtue of balance. Uh, Part of your individual journey is sort of building the structures and systems that help you thrive and live your best life. Like, I have not been doing yoga. When I do yoga consistently, I'm feeling great, but when I don't feel good, and I acknowledge that. Um, I'll wrap up kind of one point. The fake plague. I call it the fake plague. I try not to use the
Mm-hmm.
words because of the whole algorithm and censorship. Uh,
Mm-hmm.
Being in the healing community, I live in the Pacific Northwest, currently Washington State. Um, I was ostracized immensely for speaking out about what was going on and what was being mandated, and the cards and the whatnot. And ultimately, that led me. I lost so much community. It impacted me. I just want to like communicate that and I know so many other people feel it. But losing community sucks. But ultimately, that motivated me to want to build new community. And somehow I found myself doing construction work. So I went to college, I did some massage therapy, and so now I'm doing construction work, and I'm having an absolute blast doing that. And it's reinforced within me that we need. Okay, I'm hearing a little noise. I'm sorry, it's a little uh, distracting me. I
That's
apologize.
okay. That's okay.
Okay.
Go ahead and check it out. Not a problem.
Okay, we're good. Noise is gone. So I'm doing construction work, and part of the problem I one of the problems I see in our world right now is homelessness, something that,
Mm-hmm.
I've experienced myself personally in different capacities. I've never been on the street, but I currently live in a minivan. So I'm pet sitting for friends, but my life, I live in a minivan. I'm doing that intentionally just to try and save money for the land. But having experienced it myself, I'm very passionate about wanting to help in that way. And so my goal, if I won the lottery right now, it would be I'd buy some land, and
Mm-hmm.
I would, in a small little community, and I'd go out into the community, and if I see people who are struggling, the first thing I do is ask them if they want help, because if people aren't ready for help, it's pointless. But if somebody's ready and they just meet someone that's offering them help, I want to offer them help, and then I want to have little tiny houses on the land. But the goal is to build multiple tiny houses over time, but
Mm-hmm.
using the building process as a way to help people recovering contribute. So they're going to learn a skill while also contributing to part of the problem that they used to experience and suffer with. Because I think just one infusion of support to homeless people is not enough. It's such a big problem, and everyone thinks it's just, oh, well, you just give them a house, or you just give them a job, or you just do this or that. And it's not, in my opinion. The people who are really down and out, they need material support, yes, in housing, but they also need social support in terms of community. But then also they
Mm-hmm.
need sort of spiritual support in terms of purpose. They
Mm-hmm.
need something to do. If you don't have anything to do, that's when that's when the darkest parts of your soul come out. And it's a balance, of course, because in my 20s, I would say I kept myself too busy to distract myself, but
Mhm.
then, if you're not busy at all, then it's you experience the darkness, and so it's that
Mhm.
balance, but ultimately, that's what I would do if I won the lottery right now, and, that's what I foresee the new Earth as being, is just all these pockets of people who own land and who work as a community together. And at this point, I've said a lot of things that might make you think I'm a communist or something. I'm totally not a communist.
No.
I believe in the global stateless society, but that's from a philosophical perspective. In that,
Yes, yes, it's not the same as the WEF. You have nothing in common
okay,
with them.
okay, good, good. And so that kind of makes me wonder, though, what space politics looks like. And I
Mhm.
imagine it's probably just like Earth, where there's imperialism, but at the same time there's resistance. Is that accurate, or
Well, it depends on how you look at it. Basically, my exopolitical work that I do is regular and ongoing, but of it, I have very few specific memories. So I had a 3 month of our Earth time period where I was aboard what we would consider a mothership. I traveled transdimensionally, which means that I would go to sleep at night and just swap one reality for another reality with a time differential where I could be gone for weeks and months of experience, come back, and it's the very next morning. And it was very confusing and even crippling emotionally and psychologically when it first happened. Took me a while to sort it out. But besides that, I have the ongoing exopolitical work where I travel while I'm asleep to these other realities. And I'm basically in meetings, meeting with all different kinds of beings and discussing on a telepathic level. And also, though, we also have visuals that we also use that you would call holograms. And a lot of that I don't remember. And the reason I don't remember is it's a safety for me. So I don't have government officials banging on my door and wanting to extract that information. And so it's not that I'm holding out on everybody. It's that it's a couple reasons. The other reason is I've been told it's very important for me not to start any kind of a cult or organization. And that's very tempting for humans. They get a little bit of notoriety, they get a little bit of fame and success as being the grand poobah for this ET race or that ET race. And suddenly they're forming religion. And I knew that was definitely not for me. I did not want to do that. The other thing is it's a complex issue because there are probably billions of different kinds of races of humanoids with different agendas and different cultures and different ways of doing it. But all in all, I have to say, what I report on, what I think is best for humanity, and of course, I don't know everything. This is based on my experiences and my opinions. And I'm not the smartest, or I shouldn't say, I'm not the sharpest knife in the drawer either. So please don't take me as an authority. But I believe that the ways amongst the Aboriginals of the past, not all, but certainly some, were a better way of doing things than the way we're doing them since colonization. So, for instance, First Nations groups all around the world had their own plant-based medicines. They had their own spirituality. It often involved mood altering through things like the sun dances or even psychedelics. They lived in harmony with other groups of humans and also with the animals, and they had a deep respect for the spirituality of the world that we live in. So I'm very much in favor of bringing some of that back. Now, not all Aboriginal groups were great. There were many who had human sacrifices and different things like that that I don't necessarily agree with. Um, so it's complicated, Andrew. It's really complicated. I can't say this is how it is in outer space. This is how it is in transdimensional space, because just those two differences can be huge right there. Then you take into consideration all the different beings. But I do know one thing from my own personal experiences here on Earth and exopolitically, and that is that systems that are on a love-based harmonious way of doing things work. You don't need a lot of rules when you're loving other people the way you want them to love you. You're not going to steal from them. You're not going to cheat with their partner. You're not going to beat them up. You're not going to do all the things that people and even other beings sometimes do. So just based on my own experience and in my own opinions, I think that getting back to more of an Aboriginal way of living is a really good idea. And in that, nobody actually owns the land. It belongs to all of us and the birds and the beavers, and the horses. And we need to learn to share all of that. So I think that is a very profound way that we can pull our heads out of the what I call the construct, which is political and religious and military and medical, right? Pull our heads out of that construct and start putting our energy where we want, even if it just means daydreaming every day about the kind of world we want to live in. That is changing reality. I'm sorry, Andrew, for going on, but everything leads to everything else, as you know.
No, I love it. I love the conversations where two people just go back and forth at length. I see, the fractal nature of reality.
Mm-hmm.
Everything is a fractal. You iterate it, and it's similar but different. And over time, it looks nothing like the original. And
Mm-hmm.
that's the same thing. We see it here on planet Earth and how humans interact. And then you just extrapolate that out to outer space. I could see like imperialistic space forces, but ultimately bringing it back to the present and the love that you mentioned. Um,
Mm-hmm.
okay, yeah, thank you, Kristen, for the comment. I just read the comment. I want to.
Kristen said, I'll just read it for those that are on audio. I agree with Andrew. It's an interesting subject to look at how we live practically and safely in transition. Sorry, go ahead. I didn't mean
No,
to interrupt you.
no, that was perfect. Thank you, Kristen. I don't want to. I have some beef with some people. I'm not going to name any names, but within the community, who I think are unintentionally pushing division. And I just kind of want to say that was the inspiration for one of my shirts. I designed a
Mm-hmm.
shirt, a basic little shirt. It's just no division. And I want to
Mm-hmm.
give this example and how it can seem innocuous, but it's still part of the matrix. When there
Mm-hmm.
was the whole Elon Musk drama earlier in the year, he's cutting this, he's cutting that, blah blah blah. It was such an easy psyop to notice, and I want to bring up psyops also. But
Mm-hmm.
people in our community that I love and respect, took a side, and there was one side saying yay Elon and one side saying yay big government. And I'm
Yeah.
like, you fell for it, you fell for it. Big government is not at all the answer, in my opinion. And I think you agree. um, and so that inspired me to just create this shirt, no division. We need to remember that there is sort of one inherent division, I feel like, and that's between us in the working class and those in the parasite class or the predator class.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I couldn't agree with you more.
And so that's the one division that exists, and we need to focus on that line that they created, and we need to not let them divide us in the working class. I remember um, we there was almost a moment where the working class had some form of solidarity, and then it seems like the mainstream media jumped in and changed the narrative. And it's
Mhm.
just it's so powerful, which I'll lead that into my next shirt, actually. Perfect segue. Psyops, the power of psyops. They have stolen so many of our friends, and we have ourselves. I know I've fallen for a psyop. I couldn't give you a specific one right now, but I just know out of probability I've fallen
Mhm.
for a psyop. And
Mhm.
so, in bringing back that cognitive behavioral therapy concept of redirecting energy, when I had this realization that not everything is a psyop, but most things are, I kind of just changed how I view the media. And I also use it as another tool to redirect into the life that I want to build. I think
Wonderful.
so many of us are still guilty of like, I still pay attention. I think it's helpful just to see if like a nuclear bomb maybe went off somewhere in the world, but other than that, really we should be disengaging from all the news. And it's ironic because you and I are out here creating content, and it's like, disengage from the news but still watch us. But hopefully we're, authentic, and people want to tune in and want to contribute.
Mhm.
Um, but I really love that shirt. Go to my website, check it out. I try to just never be proud of my work. I always try to just be confident and content with my work. Going back to philosophy, I really love the Tao Te Ching, and
Mhm.
it really just the neutrality that you sort of can find in the middle. I like that. But I will say,
Mhm.
I'm proud of that shirt and just how all of it came together with the imagery and how it grabs you. And then
Mhm.
there's a if for the visual effect, it's the Twin Towers exploding with a billboard on it that says "Not everything's a psyop," and then a little
Mhm.
cartoonish George Bush. I'm wearing it, can't quite see it, but a cartoonish George Bush saying, "But most things are." So the seriousness of the Twin Towers with the cartoon of George Bush, it was just perfect. And just for the record, I hate the left and I hate the right. I hate you all equally. So don't think I'm on one side or the other. I truly believe in the stateless society.
Mhm.
Anarchism, voluntarism, there's so many different names, so many different flavors, so many different
Yeah.
interpretations.
Even sovereignty is a political stance. I think. Sorry to interrupt.
No, I could you, because I was criticized for using that word sovereignty. I was using it incorrectly. Someone had criticized me for it. So can you talk about what sovereignty is to you, please?
Sure, sure. Now, I'm not an expert and I'm not a scholar, so, bear with me. I just want to quickly say, Kristen says all political systems are part of the problem and never will a solution manifest from that construct. So I just want to start by saying, yeah, I think the right wing and the left wing are two wings of the same bird, personally. But to get into sovereignty, and this is just what it means to me, and I bring out the philosophy of sovereignty quite a lot in my book, my first book, Transdimensional: Meet the New Neighbors. And what it means is being. There's a word, I think it's in Latin, called compos mentis. So you're either compos mentis or you're non-compos mentis. Non-compos mentis means you're not in charge of what's going on in your head. And compos mentis means you're competent. You're in charge of what's going on in your own brain. So it means putting on your daddy pants and your mommy pants. And it means taking a critical look at your life. And it includes the hero's journey. Absolutely. That's how it plays out, is with the hero's journey, and we step off into the unknown. We don't know what to expect. We meet people and beings and things that we never expected that help us in our journey. We get to a point where it's black and dismal and depressing, and we just want to give up. But we keep hanging in there, and eventually we start coming back up. Think of it as a clock. 6 o'clock at the bottom is where you hit, the horrible dark and dismal part of the journey. And then you start to come back out. But when you come back out, once you hit the 9 o'clock, you pass back into your reality, but on a whole new level of understanding and way of being. And so the really exciting part of it is your compass mentis. You're in charge of your life. You're in charge of what you believe. You're in charge of how you treat yourself and other people. And to me, that's all encapsulated in the word sovereignty. So it's rulership, but it's self governing, self rulership in a way that, number one, does no harm to yourself and does no harm to others. And we can't lose when we use that as a stepping off platform for our own personal politics. So I see sovereignty as being very much a political environment. And when I was aboard the big ship, which is what I call the mothership, where I have been and where I still go for the exopolitical work, I got to see that in action. And I'm telling you, it was like the way it felt was like going home after being away for way too long. It was so incredible and so hard to come back to this life and my own imperfections and my own stairway to what I might call heaven. I don't know. Did I answer your question, Andrew, or do you want me to clarify further?
No, you answered it perfectly. Your ending statement, it just kind of reminded me when you're coming down from a really good trip, and you're
Mhm.
just like, oh shoot, I know what I'm going back to. And for me personally, that's when I'm like, my goal is to bring that, because you talked about earlier love, the love vibration, the love frequency.
Mhm. Yeah, it's a
Really,
frequency.
it is such a frequency, and when I first really felt it and I realized that it was a frequency, it was when I had done the first time I had ever done LSD, and
Mhm.
I was coming down. So towards the end of the experience, I was lying on my back, and at the time I had a cat, and my cat was lying on my chest purring, and there was just this harmonious connection between her purr and
Mhm.
what I was feeling and like projecting out into the world. And I was like, and my cat loved the crap out of me. She was always like, if I was home, she was on me, in some on
Mhm.
my shoulder, like on my lap, on my back, just whatever. And so I was like, oh my gosh, that's the love frequency. That's the
Mhm.
message. That's what I need to bring back to the reality when I'm sober. And so
Mhm.
I don't do psychedelics a lot. I've done over the course of my life, not even probably 10 times the different
Mhm.
drugs. I do want to do more. I do want to be like a psychonaut. That's just a cool word. I know you use that word. Um,
Mhm.
but so I don't want to like glorify or glamorize them too much. I do want to talk about them with a seriousness and a respect. Um,
Mhm.
but I just that's when I understood the love vibration. And I will ask myself sometimes when I'm sober, when I'm totally sober, or maybe just weed. I smoke a bit of weed, but that's here nor there. Anyways, I'm like, am I bringing the love into this situation, or how can I bring more love into this situation, or why are you not bringing love into this situation? All these questions. It's centered around love and what I'm bringing to a situation. It's
Mhm.
and that's where my dog, he taught me unconditional love. Dogs are
Mhm.
just these tremendous creatures. There's a philosopher, Diogenes. He hung out with dogs, and I find inspiration in that. I Dogs are the best in teaching you how to be present and how to love.
Mhm.
Um, and then I'll end this little ramble on, you were talking about compos mentis earlier.
Mhm.
There's a philosopher, Epictetus. He was a slave for most of his life, but something that he really um, thought of and spoke of was sort of that sovereignty of mind, that even though I am
Mhm.
a slave in the material world, they cannot take my mind. And
Mhm.
that is the key in all of this madness, all of the psyops that we're enduring and everything. Don't let them take your mind.
You know, it's interesting you say that. Reminds me of, there's a show on Netflix, a series called Three Body Problem or Three Body Solution. I can't remember what it's called. And in it, at the end, the only way they can actually win against this very powerful kind of an AI alien system is to not speak what they're actually thinking, because the powers that be, the surveillance state, can only know what you allow it to know. And when you keep that inside, you're keeping your secrets, and it keeps you strong and powerful. So it just kind of reminded me of that. I want to ask you before I forget, Andrew, are you able to screen share? Do you have a box at the bottom of your screen that says present or invite?
I do have a present. I
Because
can
I'm
screen
wondering
share.
if you want to just try it. If you get kicked off, please come back in. But if you want to try it, because I know you wanted to show, I think some of your either a project you're working on or some of your, there you go. Okay, let me put this up.
Okay, yeah.
Are you comfortable with me doing this?
Yeah, absolutely. We lost
Okay.
internet when we were talking about it.
Yeah, so I didn't want to forget, because next thing you know, in 10 minutes the show's over. So I wanted to try to get that out, and I want people to see the quality, and to encourage them to go and visit your shop and do some what they call lazy activism, is by wearing a t-shirt with a profound message can tell people you don't know how many people you're reaching that way. Anyway, I'll just zip it, let you carry on.
Yeah, is it are we sharing? Can I
Yeah,
Yeah?
you're on the
Okay.
screen. Yeah,
Okay.
I don't
So I'll
know, can you not see it?
I can see. Okay. So this is my basic no division shirt. Just with the division symbol and the cross out. I don't know. I like it. It's
Mhm,
simple. People in my experience, people ask about it, and it's a great way to sort of meet new people who might want to be part of the mission and part of your new
mhm,
community. Because if you're like me and you feel lonely and want to build community, it's really
mhm,
cool to have people come up to you. But this is the shirt
mhm,
that I'm really, really proud of. This is my PsyOps special shirt. And so I'll
mhm,
try and highlight it here. So we've got the Twin Towers exploding here. That's an image I got off Google. I'm pretty sure it's somewhat real with this billboard that I was able to put in here. And so I actually designed all this. I don't consider myself a creative person, but I did this. So not
looks like you
everything's
are.
thank you. Not everything's a psyop. And then there's a little George Bush, but most things are because I just see him as just such this goofy kind of guy.
Me
Um,
too, I see him that way too.
and so again, I'm not right or left. This is just he was president when this happened, so whoever was president, I would have used them. So that's why. But this shirt, I can tell you, will get you attention if you wear it in
Mhm,
public. And
mhm,
I I don't I don't like attention, but at the same time, I need to do it. We need to do it. So
mhm.
I'm the quality, they're relatively comfortable. I would like to I'll stop, I think, screen sharing now. I want to work with our friend. Am I okay? Yeah, there we go. We're back with Steven. You know Steven. I want to work with him to build out maybe a more robust merchandise store with really high
Mhm,
quality products. And then I also
mhm,
want to start maybe creating our own products, like um, because land ain't cheap. Uh, Most of the people I know are struggling right now. I know a few people that aren't struggling. Bless them. I'm happy for them. Only slightly
mhm,
jealous. But most people I know are struggling, and so we need to find ways within the system to sort of extract wealth out while we're
mhm,
trying to. And that's almost literally how I see it. Is we're sort of
mhm,
extracting wealth out from the matrix to build our own parallel society. Libertarians always talk about parallel institutions, but I think we need to go one step further, fully parallel societies to the point where, and I'm radical. Maybe if we do another show, we can get into it. I seem very chill, goofy, happy, but I'm also uh, intense. We will say.
mhm,
I we'll get serious real quick towards the end here. I have done the work and looked at myself and said, I'm willing to die for this cause. Um,
mhm,
I threw away everything. I had a great opportunity for a great life, and I was like, no, the truth matters more, and speaking up matters more. And I think that if you truly want to be a martyr, if you truly want to, be someone who is of virtue, you should have to grapple with the idea of giving your life for the cause.
Mhm.
And I am romanticizing it a little bit, which I'm totally fine with, because let's be real, we're living through a dystopian novel, and you get to choose the narrative for your character. And
Mhm.
what better character arc is there than the character who is willing to die for the cause? And I think maybe I'll end it there.
Wow, it's really very deep and very profound, and certainly something for us to think about. A lot of people will do anything, sell their soul for another day of life. But me as an older person, I'm almost 70. I'm at the point now where I believe a life well lived and well examined is the only kind of life to lead. And we're all going to die. Andrew, we're all going to die one day. It's going to happen to all of us. So why not live our lives to the best that we can? And I'm not big on religion. I used to be, but I quit because I was finding it was crazy making. But in the Bible, it talks about for us to work at acquiring the things that we can take with us when we pass over, not the things that rust and moths eat up and, gets wasted. So what are those kind of things? Let's go back to the love harmonic, the love frequency, what we do for building our self-control, our patience. Man, being patient, I have to work on that every single day. Every single day I have to work on being patient. And that's just part of it, being mild. When somebody says something and I could freak out on them and I just say nothing. First of all, because I don't want to add fuel to the fire, but also because I want to work on staying calm and staying mild. And there are so many of these attributes that are all components of love. And of course, we're not even taught what love is in school or anything. People think love is sex, and well, it can be, but it certainly is so much, more than that. So I guess what I'm saying is if we work on the things that we can take with us, and then when we pass over, we can do so with dignity and without fear, and we can go on to our next course of life. And what that will be. I don't know if we're going to heaven. I don't know for sure, or whether we'll end up on a mothership or another world or being a completely different kind of being. But I do know one thing, there's just such a peace that comes to me from knowing I've done my best every single day and I'm working on it. And what could I do? You can only do your best. And we don't have to be perfect. That's another thing. That whole concept of perfection drives me crazy because according to who? Perfect according to who? What does that even mean? I just think that it's another trap that can keep us from actually reaching our full potential. But anyway, I'll stop now because otherwise I'll ramble on and on and on. Before I let you go, I just want to quickly say hi to Shelley. I didn't say hi to Shelley yet. And if I missed anybody else in the live chat, I'm sorry. Sometimes it's hard for me to focus on more than one thing at one time. But Andrew, I'm hoping you'll come back again and share more with my audience. I think you're doing some amazing work. I've always had very high respect for everything that I've seen, all the content that you've put out so far, and I appreciate you very much. Can you tell people where they can find you? Of course, the links are in the description below, but for those on audio, it might be nice for them to actually hear where they can find you and help them to remember later on.
Absolutely. Thank you again for this wonderful opportunity, Karen. You're someone that I've looked up to and respected for years. And so getting to be able to share a space with you, I said it already, but I'll say it again. It's an honor and a privilege. And it
Thank
feels
you.
good. It just feels good to be doing something. The
Mhm.
battle is way bigger than any of us singularly, but together, that's where our power comes from, and it feels good. You can
Mhm.
find me. I do still kind of do Instagram, but I'll probably eventually stop. Heavyweights Light Feels. And then also my YouTube channel name is Heavyweights Light Feels. I post ramblings about philosophy and about current events, but my goal is to, when I like, this is the future projection, I want to start creating content teaching people how to build tiny houses for so they can, on their own land and their own property, take in more people, and just help. So that's kind of the goal progression, is building content, but for now also just rambling in philosophy. I have a Printify store. There will be a link in the description. I make $3, $4, $5 off of a shirt that you buy. So I try to not make too much money, but because it's more about the message. But if we can get a
Mhm.
message out, and if I can make some money, you're helping towards my goal of building an
Mhm.
intentional community. And yeah, let's link up. If you are the type of person that want to, buy some land, let's do it. I don't know why, but Tennessee. For some reason, my brain says Tennessee. So let's make it happen.
Oh, that's really interesting. Now, I have a friend, he goes by Tennessee, Kentucky Bigfoot, and he's not a Sasquatch hunter. He is a Sasquatch communicator, I guess. He and his son take all kinds of things out into the woods and leave them for Sasquatch and then go back, or I guess they call them Bigfoot in the States, and then goes back and sees the evidence that the gifts have been received, and messages they've gotten back through the reorienting of the items that were left behind, things like that. Anyway, he's in Tennessee, so I know some really good people that are in Tennessee, so you might be really onto something there for sure. So we're pretty much out of time. I want to thank you, Andrew, as well, because you've inspired me. You may not realize it, but through your content and your kindness and your integrity, you have inspired me. And I think we're all in this together. And oh, Maya's saying he's a Sasquatch experiencer. Yes, that would be the word, Maya. Thank you. And Denise says, yeah, Tennessee, Kentucky, Bigfoot. He's wonderful. But everybody, I hope you go over to Andrew's YouTube channel and subscribe and watch and like some of his content. And if you can, order some of his merch and wear it proudly. It comes from a wonderful source. And we're all in this together, everybody. We're all in this together. It's just, is there any last minute words you want to say, Andrew, before we say goodbye to everybody?
Just really, really try to bring the love. Let's bring the love if we can.
Absolutely. I agree 100%. So that's it for the Quantum Guide Show, everybody. Thank you for joining us, whether you're in the live chat, watching the replay, or listening on an audio platform. I appreciate each and every one of you. I'm sending out much love to all of you. And we'll see you on Sunday for the Aliens and Angels podcast. And I hope you all have a wonderful, wonderful week. And thank you again, Andrew. Take care, everybody. Bye-bye for now. Thank you for joining me for the Quantum Guide Show. Become the change that you wish to see in the world. Subscribe to my YouTube and other channels at Karen Holton TV. Click the like button, leave me a comment, and share this podcast with your friends. Read about my true life ET contact in my book called Transdimensional: Meet the New Neighbors, which is now available in Amazon bookstores worldwide. Check out my website at www.karenholtonhealthcoach.com to see my free resources and amazing products and services. All the links will be in the description below. As part of the Forbidden Knowledge Network, you will find the Quantum Guide Show with Karen Holton and also the Aliens and Angels podcast on all audio platforms. Until next time, keep up the good work.